So we're briefly looking at the long game then down to start with, okay? Your setup was a little bit vertical. Your head was kind of in the middle of that. You want sort of the left side of your head to the right of the golf ball. Your hands to be just left of the golf ball, obviously as you're looking down, reverse looking this way, okay? And ideally speaking, because your left hand is higher than your right hand, your left side shoulder and left hip are going to be slightly higher, okay? Don't want to lean back onto your right side. I'm pushing my left hip forward and therefore higher, my left shoulder higher. So I'm still kind of feeling 50-50. It's not just a sway onto the right knee, okay? Just be careful of that in terms of your setup. And then from a swing perspective, as you come to the golf ball, we want to see an impact position where your hands, there is impact there just about, your head now behind the ball. Yeah. The spine angle now nice and forward, and left arm, left hand, left knee, left foot, all nicely in line. Okay, and the golf ball, obviously the club had the club in just before impact there, club somewhere there. So we're creating the angles, we're looking to try and get a nice little bit of angle with the shaft, head stem behind the golf ball, giving yourself a lot more space for your arms. If I sort of move this way now, I've now got to try and move out of the way with my arms. And that's when you did that first time round, because you're moving into the golf ball as you were used to, your arms used to have to try and almost pull up out the shot to find space, yeah? When you were back this, when you were leaning your left side, your top half was getting too much on the left side. If you released your arms of space, you just fat it, okay? So you sort of pulled your arms up into your body to try and give yourself that adjustment, okay? Then when you figured out where the strike was, you're able to release your arms and get a bit more launch with those irons there off the club face. Chipping wise now again, similar kind of thing, okay? Obviously the same sort of shoulder angle there, okay? Hand just slightly forward, okay? And the ball is back. But only if I put your right foot kind of where it would be here for a long shot, okay, that ball position now is left to centre, because you put the right foot in close to put the ball on your right foot, okay? But with that club now sticking underneath your left shoulder, as you go back, you want to keep the handle of the club now ahead of the golf ball. You had a little bit of a weight on your toes. I think you're trying to get a bit more putting style, you say, so a bit over the ball there, but you were doing that by leaning on your tiptoes. Sink back into your heels just a little bit so you feel more comfortable, I suppose. You said at the start, I don't feel comfortable. I think history has shown if you've had some bad results with chipping, you don't feel comfortable at all. You're like, going, well, how do I stand to a golf ball? But getting yourself in a little bit more equal balance, 50-50, over the golf ball better. Okay, and in terms of the swing now, the handle of that club, so you can see here now, you create a nice angle, and the club shaft well away from the body there, okay? As you come through, there's impact. The handle of that club now needs to stay in front of that club there. Sometimes releases a bit more. That's okay. Obviously after the shot here now, you've still kept that angle there. If you look when I did that there, the club for me was probably more in that position slightly, yeah? I'm keeping that wrist this way and firing the club in the ground, getting some acceleration with the arms, but the club face now is not at all flipping over. The second that club flips, or the butt end of the club starts changing direction there, so the club now is accelerating, and that just sends it too far, and you're just crushing it past the flag. And then you result in obviously trying to not go too far by kind of backing up a little bit and taking power off it, which encourages more of a flick, which encourages more power, and the club bottoming early. So you tend to thin it a little, so fat it a little bit or thin it. So getting equally balanced onto that left side, keep the hands in front and keep the hands and arms going through aggressively. Okay, and the club can just sort of stay back, almost like I suppose in some ways, you know, a drop shot in tennis, like you swing your arms through quick with the racket and the handle stays, the head of the racket stays behind and the ball goes weak to the right there, yeah? That same kind of chipping sort of sensation. You're swinging the arms with some speed. If you sort of stop the body and flick it this way, the ball's going to ping off the club face. And then if you're losing control and the ball's just going too far, your reaction is going to be to just sort of go and just sort of hang back and stop. Fat shots and toe shots going to come from there. Okay, mate? Yeah, good stuff.